Change doesn't just mean something that happens in your life that puts you in a different place and you just were. Change could also mean bodily changes, certain things like that. Being aware that what you have now might not be what you have later. Think about some of the things that you have and be aware of the different ways you could lose these things, right? Nothing lasts forever. Nothing is permanent in your life. Things can change in a matter of seconds. So being aware of this is important. It's very foolish to live your life just thinking that you're gonna do the same things. You're not gonna have any problems. You're gonna just do the same shit that you were always doing. You're not gonna have to deal with anything else. You're not gonna have to maneuver differently. You're just stuck on repeat. It's foolish to live that way because you'll be put in a situation where your life is just different and you have to do different things at different times. And this is just the life that you live now, and this is how you are going to live. Anything could happen, and it doesn't matter when, doesn't matter why, just know that it could happen. So nobody wants to be stuck on repeat or stuck in a cycle where you're just doing the same things each and every day. You wake up and do all this. Nobody wants to truthfully live like that. If you aren't paying attention and focusing and realizing what you are doing throughout your day, if you're not doing these things, if you're not understanding and realizing what's going on around you, if you're not aware of your life and your decisions that you're making, if you're not aware of all these things, then this is what your life will be. If you're not switching it up, if you're not trying new things out, failing, succeeding, then this is what your life will be. It will be a loop, and you will be stuck on a cycle. And you might think that it might be easier to live that way, but I promise you, it will cost you in the long run. It will always be harder because eventually it becomes tiring. And who doesn't want to try something new, see if they like it, maybe tap into just a different side of them that they didn't even know existed. Who wouldn't want to try that out, right? You could say you might just want to do the same things each and every day and live like that, but that will always be a tough place to be in your life. Uh, However, change is very much necessary for all aspects of life. We do need change. Do not think that for a second you don't need for change to happen in your life, or don't try to take change and put it away or forget about it. Or learning to adapt to change is one of the best things that you can learn how to do in your life. And it's super important to understand and realize that when you do learn, the more you do learn about your change and what your situation and shit, is the better off you will be, because life will throw whatever it wants. Life will throw uh, certain things that you are not expecting in your path in your path to you. That is just what life is going to do. It's going to throw whatever you're not expecting in your path. And reason this always is going to happen is because you aren't. This is always going to happen because change is a major part of life, and there's nothing we could do to get around it. The only thing that we can do is learn how to adapt to our change. And the best way to do this is by having an open mind and accepting it. Once you accept it, this is the first step. Just accepting that change is going to happen in your life no matter what. And there's nothing that will help you more than to have that open mind and learn more about your situation and what you got going on, and start to think of some of the possibilities of change that could happen in your life. And you know, in most cases, it's something that we will never expect. We'll never expect when it will happen, but the change is always going to happen. And that is just a big part of life that most people still to this day don't get and understand why it happens. Like, why there has to be change in our life. And, uh, think of change as a fresh start to something new, something that you want to do, right? Let's say, you are working on, um, building yourself. Let's say you're just think of change as a fresh start to something new. Let's say, like, this is just think, think of change as a fresh start to something new, right? Let's say, like, you even have an opportunity or a chance to just change a little bit, man. This is extremely important for your growth, right? Because no matter how good you are at something, or whatever the case may be, no matter how smart you think you may be, you can always grow and learn even more. And it's important to do this because the more adapting that you do is the more well versed you'll be in any and everything in your life. You will understand a lot more about your life, and also understand a lot more about just life in general. Learn to adapt to life, learn to adapt to certain things. And this is tough because when you are put in a situation that's new, like, let's say you're going to a new school, right? A new college or something, like, let's say you're going to college and you're like, man, like, this is completely different from my high school. Like, this is not the same shit that was going on in my high school. Everything is a little bit different, right? But uh, everything is let's say you were going to a new college, a new school, and you're in the school, and everything is just a little bit different, right? Like, you're making that jump from high school to college, you go to school, and you're looking around like, man, like, this is not the same thing, right? But it's important to understand and learn these different things as well, because for any aspect of life, you're going to be doing new things, going to new places, seeing new things, and just learning how to maneuver, learning how to socialize with different groups, learning how to maneuver through different situations is always important, right? Like, and a big aspect of college that I hear people talk about a lot, like, when people ask about, like, why they want to go to college, a lot of people say they don't know, right? It's their parents. But one big thing that I think people forget and don't mention as much as the social aspect. And the social aspect being, you will meet different groups of people, different types of people that you never really thought you would ever meet. Like, it's so crazy how someone could be a few towns over and be just like you, or completely different from you. And that is a big part of life, just that social aspect as well. And I think that learning how to talk to different people and different classes, different aspects of life, learning how to talk to these different people is important, because if you know how to talk to each person, imagine what your business sales will be like. Like, you just know how to relate to different people and different, because everybody's different, everybody thinks differently, Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody talks differently. You feel me? So when you speak to a certain person a certain way, they could think that you're being deceiving, whatever the case. Or you might speak to someone, right, in a nice way. They might think that you're trying to like do something with them, do something to them, right? But you get to speak to the same person. If you just learn people, learn body language, learn how to talk to different people, that is a big part of life. And college will teach you that, because you get that social aspect of just being there. But I think that a lot of people say like, oh, they don't know why they're going to college, but they do learn that social aspect, and that's important for life, for your next few steps. The social aspect is also important for people who speak to you and learning how to speak and learning different types of people that are speaking to you. You learn different body languages. Is this guy trying to harm me? Is this guy trying to sell me something? Does this guy want me to do something? You learn a lot from just learning people and how they speak and how they act and how they talk and body language and different things like that. This can help you maneuver through life a lot better. Like identify different opportunities. Like, okay, this person knows what he's talking about, or this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. Go ask someone else, right? Like different aspects like that of life is how you will learn and grow, mainly. And maneuvering through change is never going to be easy, you know what I mean? Because when you're put in a situation where you're around different people that you maybe don't know too much and stuff like that, like you just don't, you're not, maybe you don't connect on that level, right? It's important that you at least know how to like communicate with these people and kind of at least try to relate. And just because you don't fully resonate with someone doesn't mean you don't have to completely just ignore them and shit like that. Like you can always learn from anybody around you in any stage of life, anywhere. Doesn't matter who they are. You can learn from these people, and some people fail to realize that you can learn from anyone. And lastly, just learn from your change. You know what I mean? Don't just look at your change and be like, man, that was a tough point in my life, and not take anything from it. You should learn from every single thing that you were going through in your life. Doesn't matter what it is, learn from your change. And you might say, man, how am I going to learn from this? It was just a hard time for me and I didn't learn anything. There's always a lesson to be learned, man. It doesn't matter from what, there's always a lesson to be learned. Just open your mind up to different possibilities and ideas, and I promise you, you can learn a lot from your life. And life is just going to teach us these lessons. It's up to you to learn them, right? The teachings are out there. They're just up to you to take that information and utilize it for the future. You don't want to get caught up making the same mistakes that you already learned weeks ago, months ago. Like you know those things, you know these things already. You know this could have happened. Why not, take this information, learn from it, right? And don't make these same mistakes again. You feel me? Because life is gonna teach us, and God is gonna give us these lessons. He's gonna explain to us. He's gonna, if you pray and ask for certain things, He's gonna give you what you want, but in the form of a lesson. And it's up to you. You know what I mean? To complete that mission, and to if this is something that you really want in your life, then you'll go after it and you'll do it. But a lot of people pray for this, they pray for that, but they won't take the steps that they need to get these things, right? You pray for strength. Strength is going to be tested. You're going to have a task to work out every day or whatever. You pray for wisdom, knowledge. You're going to be tested on these things, right? This is important. What you're praying for as well. Change is a two-sided coin. Change could either go really bad for you or really good, depending on your reaction and your mindset throughout this. The reason I say mindset, and I'll always mention and bring up mindset, is because no matter what you think or what you say, your mindset has a huge effect on any situation that you get yourself into, no matter what. And it doesn't matter what it is the situation may be, as long as your mindset is set on success and winning, you can never lose. And I say this because no matter if you do end up not doing what you wanted to do, you do end up taking the L, you still learned a valuable lesson. The only way to learn a valuable lesson each time is by having an open mind and understanding and realizing the importance of your mind and what you think. Everybody reacts to change differently. Some people hate change, some people love change. Me personally, I have a neutral opinion on change because in certain situations, I react negatively to change. And I don't know why, but whenever there is change in my life, I tends to just throw me off. And then as soon as I just build up a routine and what I'm doing, then I get back to normal and I'm just back good. But I think the best and most important part of dealing with change is having a routine that you stick to. So when you are thrown in a situation where your environment might be different or what you're doing throughout your day might be different, my best advice would be to come up with a routine and figure out a way to build a big routine, an important routine, and use this routine to guide you and push you forward towards your goals and your dreams and the shit that you want to do, right? So, incorporate exercise, incorporate some time for obviously sleep and for those who you care about and love. Keep time in your day for yourself, shit like that. You feel me? Or just having a bunch of shit that you want to do throughout your day, you know what I mean? And this is the best way that I could say to react to deal with change. You feel me? There's no other way to react to change but to build up a routine and to stick to this routine, right? And change can be a little bit different. Change doesn't necessarily have to be, your environment might be different or the things that you're doing are different, but it could also be the your body is going through a change or it's something you have surgery or something like that. And in situations like that, obviously you cannot just do whatever you were doing before and things still might be the same. Obviously you're gonna have some differences, that's why it's called change. But when you have a routine and you just come up with a way to deal with all this stuff, I promise you that will help most. The best most important thing that you have in your life is your actions and what you are doing. That is really truthfully the most important thing that you could possibly focus on throughout your day, your actions. And because life is not just a telling game. It's not just you talk about doing something and then you go into it and you just keep talking about it. It's about your actions, right? It's about what you are actually doing. Because at the end of the day, nobody is gonna truthfully take your word about anything that you do unless they see you doing it for real and they understand and realize why you do the thing that you do. And the best way for people to get people to understand that is by your actions. It's coming up with a way to build, coming up with a way to truthfully live what you speak and do these things throughout your day. And the only way that you can do that is by making these actions and truthfully living what you speak. You cannot lie to people and say you do things and you don't do this. It's how you lose trust in those around you, right? Because you can talk so much about doing anything in life. It's about what you are actually doing that actually truthfully matters. And God is always watching. He is always around. He's gonna always watch over you. So my best advice would be to live as if God is always watching you. And he might not be proud of some of the things that you do, whatever the case may be, but try your best to live an honest life and to just do things that is true and real to you. That's the best thing I could say, right? You don't want to do anything for anyone else. Whatever it is that you do is truthful and real to you your your thoughts and your what you believe in, what you've been taught. This is the most important thing to practice. Those things, right? Obviously, whenever you are going through a change, it's important to remember why you're going through this change or what this change, what may come out of this change. Sometimes you can't see it right away, what may come out of this. Sometimes it's going to obviously take that time for you to really like sit and think about this change, but this promise you change is necessary and change is inevitable. Change is going to happen. It is inevitable. It doesn't matter what change it is, it's inevitable. You cannot step away from change. You cannot run away from change. Even if you are homeless living on the street, there will still be change. You're still gonna have times where they need to clean up the streets, you get you off the streets, and they're gonna have to put you somewhere else, right? Doesn't matter what it is. You will always have change in your life, and the best way to learn to deal with this change is truthfully that routine and coming up as a routine and coming up with a way to deal with this change, right? Everybody reacts differently, but your mindset going through anything in life, especially change, is extremely important. I always talk about mindset and keeping a positive mind and just keeping your eyes and ears and your mind open to change, right? React to change positively because it's inevitable. There's nothing, same thing with failures in life. There's nothing you could do about change. It's gonna happen. You gotta just react positively and react the best way that you see best fit. And when you look at most of the changes that have happened in your life, when you look at all the things that happened that made you learn and grow, and most of them were situations where you were just put in and you didn't at first realize what was going on, but after some time, after you sat and thought about it, you realize that this was actually a positive on you. And in most cases, that will be the case, right? Just remembering that is important. Never get too comfortable in your situation and whatever it is that you are doing. Never sit back and kick your feet up when things are looking good, because you can get swiped off those feet really fast. And it's important to always remain on a swivel and remember the importance of what you gotta do.